Today, we're going to talk about the price action that we have seen in Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies over the past couple of days and whether or not you should consider investing. And right now, I would say be cautiously optimistic. From a technical standpoint, we are in bullish territory. We have broken through a key resistance at 4,130, and we are well on our way to go back to the previous price levels that we were seeing before. In fact, if you think about this was where we struggled for the majority of the month of August before we finally made a break up to $5,000 or so. And so, what I want to point out about all of this is we are technically in a bull market in a way, or we are in a bullish trend, I should say. But on the flip side of that, I want to say that there really hasn't been a ton of headlines that have encouraged this. And really, I think the biggest reason why Bitcoin is up right now, and hence all of the other cryptocurrencies as well, is because of the fact that people are looking to get a free lunch. And what I mean by a free lunch is that there has been an explosion in discussion about Bitcoin Gold, which is a speculated hard fork at the end of October, as well as Bitcoin 2x. If we were to see these two particular hard forks happen, we could see two additional cryptocurrencies that have the history of Bitcoin and also have some of the branding of Bitcoin. And if it's anything like Bitcoin Cash, it's the equivalent of getting paid a 10 to 20% dividend. And I think a lot of people are investing because they just want to have the free Bitcoin Gold and they want to have the free Bitcoin 2x, whatever they brand that as. So I want to point out here is, I don't know if that's the healthiest reason to invest right now, but I think that is why people are investing so much. There's been a couple of other headlines as well, such as from some of the central banks saying how we can't really regulate Bitcoin. There's also been the South Korean exchange that's going to open soon that will have tons of different cryptocurrencies. There are other headlines out there that are working in the favor of Bitcoin, but I tend to think that a ton of people are investing right now in the hopes of being able to get free Bitcoin Gold and free Bitcoin 2x. And they essentially are hoping to get paid a dividend because that's essentially what Bitcoin Cash was. Again, you have to think of it from the perspective of an investor, not from the perspective of the scaling debates that we were having. Because that's not what is important to the majority of investors. In fact, I can tell you right now, many investors that I know from the traditional field of finance could give two shits about the scaling debate for Bitcoin because it's not immediate enough of a problem. Even though transaction fees are going through the roof, all they see is a speculative instrument. So what I want to point out here is that the majority of investors, they don't care about Bitcoin Cash, they don't care about Bitcoin Gold, and they don't care about Bitcoin 2x. All they care about is whatever is known as Bitcoin. Whatever has the branding as Bitcoin, whatever is traded as Bitcoin, that is Bitcoin. Now, whether or not that is true among the people who have adopted it, in other words, among you yourselves, the people who use it, that's a different story. But in terms of investors, whatever gets traded and named Bitcoin will always be the most valuable cryptocurrency simply because Wall Street does not care about these other cryptocurrencies. They do not care about these variations of Bitcoin. They are a fad. In fact, many people from Wall Street think that these copies of Bitcoin that are a result of a hard fork. Now, I should be careful. When I say copy, I mean that retain the history up until a certain point. These new cryptocurrencies to people on Wall Street are the equivalent of printing new money because that's exactly what happened with Bitcoin Cash. And so what I want to point out here is that investors are right now treating Bitcoin as if it's about to pay out this huge special dividend as a result of hard forks, and they're not paying attention to the potential risk associated with replay attacks and a number of other complications that can happen as a result of a hard fork and pitting the core developers against the miners. So what I want to point out about all of this is that we are in a very weird point in time right now. It's very difficult to say whether or not this is going to end up working well or not for Bitcoin. Now, I want to say that I expected this run up to happen eventually because of the fact that it is basically a free lunch to a lot of people. I did not expect it to happen so soon because the cryptocurrency market generally does not react this much earlier. Usually it's like roughly 2 weeks before something happens that we start seeing a little bit of a run up towards it. And so I was surprised to see it because the Bitcoin Gold hard fork isn't supposed to happen until October 25th, if it even does happen. And then the Bitcoin 2X hard fork isn't supposed to happen until November. So this is a little early. As a result of that, again, I'm still a little bit cautious here. I'm not really sure what to do in this particular market. However, while I'm not a huge fan of Bitcoin in particular right now, it is technically sound. So we could see it break up to $4,500. We could see it even try to test that $5,000 price level again. And as a result of that, I don't want to miss that move upward. So what I'm watching very carefully right now is Litecoin. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but Litecoin is still down a tremendous amount in comparison to Bitcoin and Ethereum over the same time frame. To put things into perspective here, okay? When Bitcoin was trading at $4,060, I remember this in particular because I had limit orders at around this point. Ethereum was trading at $283, and Litecoin was trading at $61. Do you see how out of whack it has gotten? We now have Bitcoin at $4,200, and Litecoin is only at $55, when previously it was at $61 when Bitcoin was at $4,060. So Litecoin has still greatly depreciated against Bitcoin. I still see a lot of potential here. If you look at it from a technical basis, I know that there's some articles saying that you should wait until a breakout above $58. I'm going to just say here that Litecoin is by far, among the major cryptocurrencies, the most undervalued right now. And you don't need a confirmation from the technical picture to have a good long-term investment in Litecoin right now. So I'm going to be watching very closely here to see if it looks like this momentum is going to continue, despite the fact, in my opinion, it's a little bit early. And if it is, I'll probably jump into Litecoin. The other cryptocurrency I'm looking into right now is ARK. ARK right now is trading at roughly 70,000 Satoshi when it went all the way up to, if I recall, roughly 110,000 Satoshi. There is still a ton of hype behind ARK right now. There's still a ton of discussion about why it's going to be the future of cryptocurrencies. Whether or not that's true, that's up to you. But what I do know is that there is a ton of speculation going into ARK right now. There's a ton of hype there, and there's a ton of support. So I am considering investing in ARK at the 70,000 Satoshi level. I'm probably going to set a limit order a little bit lower because it's in a general downtrend right now. If you can pick up ARK at 60,000 Satoshi, if it ever goes down to that level, I would argue that that is a very strong buy. So I will have some limit orders in for ARK at roughly 60,000 Satoshi, and then I'll likely also have some limit orders in at roughly the 65,000 mark, slightly overcut. As usual, I hope you all enjoyed this video. We are in a turbulent market right now, certainly the roller coaster ride. It's difficult to know exactly why these things are happening, especially because it hasn't been a headline-rich time for cryptocurrencies right now. So I would watch very cautiously. I would be optimistic, but I would be careful. As a result of that, I'm probably going to up my allocation in the market to maybe 75% right now. I still want to have a ton of fiat on the sidelines in case this ends up being fake, because again, there isn't a ton supporting this particular rally other than the fact that I think people are getting greedy and they want to have Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin 2X for free. I hope you all enjoyed the video. As usual, leave a like, comment, and subscription, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.